Hey folks, I didn't expect to be posting anything again quite so soon, but I was out at my friendly local game store tonight and I saw this and I thought I'd pick it up and see what it was all about. These are the D&D minis that Wizards of the Coast is putting out along with each of their new campaign lines. This one is for their Elemental Evil campaign, which I think is the second one that they did. They've moved on to a different one now, but I guess they don't have minis out yet. This was the last box of the store, and it was less than 20 bucks, so I thought, what the heck, I'll pick it up. If nothing else, I guess it makes a decent unboxing video, you know, to go along with the 5 billion other ones that are on YouTube. In this, you get 4 minis. Let's see if I can do this without shaking the camera too much. You get 4 minis. They're random. Looks like there's 44 in total to choose from. These are some, and these are some others. Hopefully we don't get a bunch of elementals because those look really boring. And let's see what the back says. Icons of the Realms. Collect all 44 figures and spend a lot of money. Collect all 44 figures from Elemental Evil, the newest set of randomly sorted monsters and heroes in our exciting new line of D&D miniatures, Icons of the Realms. Bring the world of the Forgotten Realms to life. Yeah. So, you get the idea. So let's pop this thing open and see what's inside. Got some tape. There we go. So, well, that's interesting. I wasn't really expecting that. So, what you get, in fact, is 1 large mini and 3 smaller ones. So, as far as the large one is concerned, that looks like the Ettin, which is on the box. He is an ugly 2-headed guy with a couple of clubs. And let's see what the other one is, or other ones. These are very small. I was hoping for at least a few heroes or something, not a bunch of monsters. That is tiny. This looks like a zombie or a ghoul, I guess. It looks like he's got something coming out of his mouth there. Whoop. I can't even hold on to it. It's so small. It probably looks a lot bigger on the video, but it really is tiny. I mean, look how big he is next to the Ettin. Like, that gives you some size comparison. Let's see what else there is. And this is a gnome, maybe? A goblin? It's a female something. It's got a little warhammer there. Maybe a gnome? I'm thinking it's a gnome. It's ugly though, and it's also tiny. Yeah, it's a gnome or a halfling, because it's small. It's even smaller than the ghoul there. And he is really pitched forward too. He's like, gonna start running. And let's see what the last one is. I'll be honest, so far this is pretty disappointing. I was expecting these to be much bigger. Like, I was expecting them on average to be about as big as this guy. Oh, so this is a gnoll, or yeah, I think it's a gnoll. The hyena looking kind of guy. He's also looking like he's about to fall over too, because he's heavier than the stand. Looks like a gnoll with a bow. I don't see any arrows or string on the bow. So, yeah, those are tiny. I don't know why the gnoll needs to be so big. We'll pop the Ettin open. And there's the Etten. He is pretty big. He's sizable at least. Man, that knoll does not want to stand up. So, yeah, he's got some cool detail, and I thought his joint might be articulated, but it's not. So, it looks like he's got a bone axe club, and then another one that's made out of wood. He's hefty too, like he's got some weight to him. You get some Etten butt and some bones on his belt. But yeah, man, these are overpriced. I guess it's nice that they paint them, and the paint does look pretty good for the most part. But yeah, getting too little, just minuscule figures, and one big one and one, you know, what I think of at least as being average size. Alrighty, so I did pause the video there for a second and was just fooling around with these, and I saw on the bottom of the base that they actually do have what they are. This one's a Sefurblin Rogue. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that right, but it's kind of neat because you don't see these little guys very often. I guess they have something to do with the Elemental Evil storyline. This guy is a ghoul, so that's cool. Ghouls are neat. This guy's a Gnoll fighter, and then of course this one is the Etten. The Etten does actually tell you what it is on the bottom, whereas the other ones, it is just black on black, so that's kind of silly. So there you go. That's what they all are. I don't know how good I should feel about actually knowing the names of all these creatures. Probably spent too much time reading these fantasy books. So anyway, that's pretty much it. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know that I'd spend about 20 bucks on another box of these. I mean, as you can see, for what you get, it's not. It doesn't seem like. I mean, the box is not large, but neither are what is inside, so that was a little disappointing. I've never bought miniatures before, so just not knowing what to expect, I gotta admit I'm a little disappointed. I was hoping for some kind of ones that players could use instead of just a bunch of monsters. They're neat monsters, they're well painted, but yeah, I don't know. You'd have to buy a lot of them, especially, like, you know, if you need a bunch of gnolls or a bunch of ghouls, and I don't know that you'd be getting your money's worth spending that much on 4 per box. I'd prefer to, like, you know, maybe somewhere between $10 and $15. So anyway, oh, keeping in the vein of in the spirit of the last video, I mentioned a podcast about toy collecting, so for this video I want to mention one about Dungeons and Dragons, because it is something that I enjoy very much, even though I hardly ever get to play. There's another podcast out there called Thursday Nights, and that's Nights with a K, and that's because they play every Thursday. They're on Twitch. You can watch them. They usually play. They're West Coast, so they play at a really odd hour. But if you're on there later on a Thursday night, you can usually find them. They also have a podcast that they put out. It's on iTunes. It is probably my single favorite podcast of all time. It's just, they're an actual play podcast, so they just put out their full session. They're usually like 3 or 4 hours. And they do some really excellent role playing. It's just a lot of fun to listen to. You can just tell that they're having a ton of fun, and that these are like 4 or 5 friends that just came together and they're just having a blast. I definitely recommend starting with episode 3, because they kind of start a new campaign that episode. So yeah, definitely go check out Thursday Nights. They're really fantastic. So yeah, with all that being said, I guess this is it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll maybe post something again here, maybe another toy video here in a little bit. Thanks.